the Kenya National Paralympic Committee, on Saturday, they did make the announcement that they're going to be hosting the Para-Athletics Championships, and this is from the 29th to the 31st of January at the Kenyatta University Stadium in Nairobi. And all the events in the Para-Athletics track and field will be taking part, plus powerlifting disciplines. This is ideally weightlifting for those who are physically disabled, and the invited parties have got a lot of limitations, and so we are going to let the executive committee members of the Kenya National Paralympic Committee speak to that. And on my immediate left, we have got Dennis Muga. Dennis, welcome.
Thank you. And
also we have got Doris Nyangor, who is a member of this executive committee. Thank you. Yes, and we are looking at the para-athletics calendar because that is the one that has given a push, because at this level, most of the entries come when it comes from the national team level. So you've got the classification for the opening one is the Dubai 2025 World Para-Athletics Grand Prix. It's known as the FASA International Para-Athletics Championships. Classification 6th to 9th February, competition days 10th to 13th February. So Dennis, let's just start with the idea of looking at, first of all, how it went last year at the Paralympic Games. We saw new athletes coming up. Samson was definitely the star. I mean, you're picking up that medal in the long jump, but how much has been going on between September and January?
Okay, thank you for the invite to the KBC. My name is Dennis Muga. I am a committee member, and at the moment I'm the LOC chairman, who is going to oversee the trials which will take place from 29th to 31st. So far, so good. The team which we have on the ground, they are working tirelessly hard, and I hope this time round we'll get new athletes. And if you can remember, when we were in Paris, performance was not that good, but so far so good. It was better than the Tokyo one, because from Tokyo we came with bronze, but from Paris we came with the silver. Now the team, which is headed by President Ronald Milari, has a back on how we'll get new athletes, and that's why you see the trials is going to take place earlier, so that we can involve the schools, so we can get athletes, young athletes. Yeah.
And one of the things that, Dennis, because I have seen that you have those who are going to be involved in this. Let me just go through the invitation list that you have. You've got primary and secondary special schools, tertiary institutions, so that means colleges, universities, all of them, with para-athletes.
Yes.
What's the link that KNPC now has with para-athletes as we speak?
Okay, we involve the institutions because most of the young athletes are coming from those institutions. That's why you see even the trials, we are taking it to the KU, Kenyatta University, because we want to involve the teachers, even so that we can get the young athletes. That's why you are seeing we are working on all corners of the countries to get the new athletes, because the athletes which we have at the moment, they are getting older, and the challenges we are facing out of this is classification.
Aha.
Yes.
All right.
Classifications.
Mm-hmm. So Doris, let me just come to you now. And as you organize for these championships, what is KNPC doing to make sure that there is a good conversation such that people understand, the different classifications? For example, there are those, you see, for example, like Samson. I mean, he won. We know his classification is because of his arm. There are those who have lost their arms, and then there are those who are visually impaired. And then there is also the wheelchair class. How are you reaching out to those who are in those competitions?
What I can say, just like the Mr. Muga said, that right now we are focusing on the young athletes. Not much, but we want to bring up the young athletes so that we can focus to LA. That's the reason why we have said that for now we cannot just focus for the elite athletes, but we want to mingle with the young athletes. So when it comes to classifications, disability sports goes with classifications. So like the Ojuka, the Samson that you have mentioned is F46. So there is people with vision impaired. Their classifications are different from the physical impaired. So as we go to this trial at KU, I think we are going to have the right classifiers there, and we are going to do the right classifications for our young athletes, for our new athletes. Yeah.
So here, so let's now get straight and see, some of the schools. For example, we'll talk about Joytown School in Thika.
Oh, yeah.
And close to KU. Incidentally, then there is also Thika School for the Blind, which would give us the T11, T12 athletes. Whenever you go there and you find people who are interested in sports, what's the kind of response you get from the youngsters? Because, I think parasport in Kenya hasn't had that heavy youth activity, but we are hearing it from you, and it is what everyone should be looking at as the future of the sport.
Okay, as Muga said, that for now we are working so much with the schools, especially special schools and the institutions to get the young athletes. So for these trials, it will just give us a good start, whereby we can get a young athletes from those institutions like Thika Schools for the Blind and Thika Joytown. Yes.
Well, very interesting. And looking at it from the Paris Games, Mwanamuga, how would you describe as the opportunity sports for Kenya at para athletics? Because before I move on now to powerlifting.
Okay, I think it was a good chance for our athletes to compete globally, and whatever we saw there is what is making us to focus now, because for now competition has reached us another standard which we must be more focused, because nowadays if you go to countries which are more like, let's say, like Americans, Britain, Germany, if you see their people training, they are really spending in sports so much.
Yes.
So we had a time, even Doris went and talked with the chairman of the chairman of World Paravolley. Yes, but what she was told is not what we have been doing in the country. Yeah.
That's what you atapena mwenyewe. So she's going to tell us that story about shooting volleyball.
Yes.
So looking at it, and let me just come to this. Interesting things. We've seen Wilson B.
Yeah.
He has been there. So there's a lot that has been going on. He's been there for quite some time. Henry Wanyoike just put parasport to another level, para-athletics to another level, because of what they have done. Abraham Tarbey was also out there. Just how much are you trying to tap in to the experiences that they had, such that we can bring back all of that glory?
Okay, what I can say, You see, with us KBC, what we are trying to do is that we don't do away with the retired athletes. We are trying to bring them on board. Somebody like Tarbey is now a national coach.
Yes.
And for that, we get so many experience from him. So we don't just do away with them. We are trying to bring them back. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
In fact, we are using them to try and tap the talents of those athletes, young athletes in the various places in the country. Yeah.
One of the things is, for a lot of this, given the inspiration, that people like Tarbey, and Wanyuki are giving, how are you trying to, one of the things I always ask is, getting the right coaching methods, from the experiences. I know the Parasport family speaks a lot. What do you do to ensure that these things actually do bring back, the knowledge comes back and it goes to those wale wako mashinani, so to speak?
First of all, they must identify the classes of these athletes they want to bring on board. So we normally maybe take them for courses to know exactly what they want, because to identify athletes, Paralympic athletes, is not that easy, because they must be classified. You might think that you are getting maybe, let's say, T11 or T12. T11 is totally blind.
Yes.
So with just seeing somebody is blind, you cannot know before you classified him or her. So that's the first thing we must realize first, before you tell athletes that you can do this or this in this event. Yeah.
Doris, let me come to another sport, because we see this. I know anytime you watch the marathons, you watch the marathons more than us, not because you want to see Vivian Cheruiyot and Eliud Kipchoge at the front, but because you want to see Marcel Hook, the serial winner of the marathons, in wheelchair sport. What are we doing to get this wheelchair sport? Because I see a lot of competitions in our local marathons. But how much are we doing such that we can grow and we meet the right qualifying standards? Okay,
what I can say for now, we as the KBC, we have already purchased the right wheelchair sports. So we have good players, good athletes for the wheelchair races, but the challenge was that we didn't have the right wheelchairs. But at now we have already purchased 5 of them. We know we are now ready to go. Yeah.
Just tell us about how this has changed for the athletes who are competing. Because when we take a look at them, there is what would be called, if you look at those on wheelchairs, you'll see that it tends to have a longer frame for the front, for the front tire. And then the way the wheels are set, they tend to be inside. Have you those are the ones that you have picked now?
Yes. Yeah.
How are your athletes adapting to that?
They are adapting just so well, but we hope very soon it will go well. Yeah.
So overall, numbers that you're looking at, especially for the inaugural event, which is going to be the test for 2025, the FASA International in Dubai, how many athletes are you looking at out in Kenyatta University?
We are looking for at least 20 athletes. Yeah.
20, that's the athletes plus the guides.
Plus the guides.
Yeah.
Plus the guides.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that is for the T11, T12s.
Yes.
All inclusive,
Even
wheelchair races.
Including wheelchair races.
Even the field. Yes.
And for the field events.
Yes.
Actually, javelin. Let's talk about field events and how we're going to see them grow for the para javelin throwers.
In fact, we have a very good javelin throwers in Kenya this time. But I don't know what's wrong. Whenever they get into the competition, sometimes you see, maybe let's say talk about Sheila.
Yes.
When she went to Paris, she was throwing over 35. But when she get there, she could not even throw more than 33. So I wonder what was wrong. I don't know, because she was afraid
Stage fright happens.
We tend to ask about that, but so far so good. She's doing well now. Plus Nathan. In javelin, we have a very good athletes, and they are young. Yeah.
And what about Samson? Because people haven't spoken much about him since September. But what is the progress and what is the feedback he's giving? Because I know the last time we hosted him, it just turned out to be is a big story even for the community back home, even for able-bodied athletes. What the feedback he's giving? What does he want to achieve?
If I may talk about Samson, Samson surprised everybody in Paris. But because that was not the event he used to.
Yes, I know he was a sprinter.
He was a sprinter. So for now, he's being handled with, I think, Coach Kola. And I think he's still doing well. Because once you have seen you can do better in this, why should you leave it? Because he wants to do more, to be the best in the world. Because so far so good, he's number 2.
Yes.
And I think he's working hard to be number 1. Yeah.
Well, so you've had it, and that is Samson Opio. He is definitely, if he's working with Coach Caroline Kola, and that is on the jumps, then I can tell you he's working with somebody who is quite good. Caroline Kola, being a multi-sport athlete, represented the country at the 1982 Commonwealth Games, and I think her records, they still stand. They are yet to be contested. So let me come to the other event that, has been involved here. Now, Sisa Wile are sitting volleyball.
Yes.
You are to Sahau. So, let us come now to power lifting. Helen Wawira has always been the person we talk about. Just put out this and how we are going to see more power lifters coming through the coach, Bwana Dennis Muga.
Okay, thank you. That was my best sport, and I was also a power lifter. And I have talked about it for so many times here in studio. And in fact, I've just seen a friend of mine who just come in. He has been the coach for Helen Wawira. And so far, so good. We were with him yesterday, and the progress is very, very good. And I hope this time round, as you have seen the other day when they came from Thailand, performance was very good, and they were young athletes. So on that area, this time round, powerlifters will do good, better. Yeah.
Now, because this is a story that you can actually tell, knowing that Kenya has brought in medals from the highest levels of global competition. Yes. What some of the things that you are making as a Paralympic committee to make sure that you get the right equipment? We know we want to build Kenya. How would I put it? Buy Kenya, build Kenya. Yes. But how are we trying to adopt the equipment for the local scene?
At the moment, we have only one bench, which is the standard. And mostly it is based at Nyayo National Stadium. And the challenge we have, since we only have one, and we have many athletes within the country in different places, they cannot come to Nyayo. And that is the most challenge we have, and we are working so hard to get more benches. So the standard one, because you can be a very good power lifter, but you are using something which is not recommended. So if you get the one which is recommended, it is getting harder to perform well. Yeah, and that's the challenge we have.
Okay, so you can put that off. We'll be coming back to you. So let me come. Let me just do this and come to you. And this is what Doris, I would like you to talk about before we come back to powerlifting, as he gets this one off. It's the story of sitting volleyball.
Okay.
What is it that they told you when you went and spoke to the Germans and said that you are doing it wrong?
By the way, I'm here representing KNPC, Kenya National Paralympic Committee, and I'm also the president of Kenya Paravolley Federation, which is well known as sitting volleyball. So what I can say about the sitting volleyball, like the Omosh has said, that the game has advanced to another level, whereby we want to adapt to that levels of the like the developed countries. Yeah.
So here's the thing about sitting volleyball. I have seen it being played.
Yes.
Because it's literally sitting volleyball.
Yes.
First of all, getting the padding for the shots.
Yes.
Because you actually play and you hop around,
Yeah.
you know, on your bottoms across the court.
Yes.
And making sure that we have the right surface. Because I think it has to be wood or a very smooth mat.
Yes.
What are some of the efforts being made to get that?
Okay, so far I can say sitting volleyball is the cheapest sports because when you have just a carpet and the net and the balls, then you are good to go. So far I can say Kasarani Stadium, the indoor arena is just fit for us. You just go there, put your mat and go. Or else if you don't have mats, you can just use the floor because it is smooth.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
And the balls and the techniques so that you do the right thing. You know, that is what everyone should know.
Yes.
Because where I come from, volleyball is the main sport.
Okay.
I was born and brought up. If you bring in a football match, will be 10, but you bring in volleyball,
Yes.
will be 100.
Yes.
So attracting the sport
Yeah.
to those who are, you know, people with disability out
Yes.
in the villages, and they understand that they can also have fun with this game.
Okay, we as the sitting volleyball family, we do have our calendar of event, which we run our programs through countries. So like the other year, the last year, we had our first event was in Bungoma County. The second event, that was on April. The second event was in Nakuru County. And the last event was in Siaya County. So each and every year, we just go into counties. So when we go there, we just get new players. We can get someone who was physically challenged, and they didn't know if they can play. So we are just trying to recruit them in that way. Yes.
All right. So, now let me come and finish this, the conversation that we had, you know, about powerlifting and the right one and how we can adopt. Because, you know, we don't always have to wait for what toka kule nje, but tuambie. What are the things that you would want those people who fabricate equipment for sports in Kenya to do so that you have the right bench?
Okay, the right bench. At the moment in Kenya, we don't have any company which can get us the bench, the standard one. It is a company which is called Eleiko, which normally give if you apply for, they can give you, but you must pay. Like the one we had, we bought it when we went to Tokyo Games. So it is only one, and we normally use it for, like the one we are going to, the trials we are going to do at KU.
Yes.
That is the bench we'll bring there. So all new athletes will come there. They'll test the standard of that. So normally we tried maybe to make our own by maybe showing the not mechanics, the welders.
The welders.
The welders.
The people who do the fabrication.
Yes, on how they can get measurements, the right. Not the real metals are being used, but it is getting closer to what we want. So far, we had 2 benches which were taken to Joytown. Another one is at Pangani, and that Eleiko at Nyayo National Stadium, plus one more was bought by the Japan Embassy.
Okay.
So we have 2. But the one which we bought, it was they bought it at Nairobi Sports House, but that was not the standard. But we have it there.
All right.
So we are trying hard with the new office, which was we are part of. God willing, this year we can get more benches.
We will get those more benches, and like I always say, if Tennis Kenya discovered a solution to the tennis courts at the Nairobi Club, because that's another para sport. Yes. I'm sure now all of your tennis players want to go to Nairobi Club and play on the clay. If they could get the bricks from Western Kenya and Kakamega, wherever, and come and give us that clay court at a bench to Tapata.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much, Doris Nyang'or.
Yes.
An executive committee member of the Kenya National Paralympic Committee, yes. Dennis Book also, and they are preparing for the trial. So if you want to see them, the 29th to the 31st of January, and they will be at the Kenyatta University. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Asante.
Asante.
So, sasa tutasalimiana kama pasta.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, so now, let's move on and get to our second conversation. And this is news that filtered in through to the country last night. Bob Munro